The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, this is Brooke Bacon, your MC for today's webcast. I just wanted to let you know that our webcast will be starting in just a couple of minutes. We're just waiting for a few other people to get logged in and then we'll get started. Thank you, and I will be back shortly. Hi everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webcast, How We Lead a Remote Workforce. My name is Brooke Bacon, Marketing Lead with GSI, and I am very pleased to welcome our main presenter, Kevin R. Herrig, President and CEO of GSI. And now before we get started, I want to give you a chance to review our Safe Harbor statement. And now for a quick overview of today's meeting, which will last about 60 minutes. First, we would like to take a moment to go over a couple of housekeeping items, and then I will turn it over to Kevin to go over a brief company overview and get into our main presentation, which will last about 40 minutes. Then we will cover some upcoming educational events, and then we will wrap up with a 10-minute question and answer session. If you would like to submit a question, you can do so through the questions panel at the bottom of the GoToWebinar console window located on the right side of your screen. Please note that all questions will be answered at the end of the presentation, so if you would like to minimize your GoToWebinar console during the presentation, just click the right-facing arrow key on the top left of the console, and then clicking the left arrow key will return the console so that you can input your questions. All right, and now I'm going to turn it over to Kevin for a brief company overview and our main presentation. And Kevin, I can't hear you. All right, I can see your screen, but I can't hear you yet. If you could just unmute yourself. There we go.
Hello, everyone. I was still taken back by the fact that I am Kevin R. Herrig, executive title. Pretty neat. So I want to keep this kind of informal. And what we're going to go through here is something that we've learned over, well, I guess July 15th will be 16 years that we've been in business. And for that
Kevin,
period,
I'm sorry to interrupt you. We can't, the slide isn't full screen.
okay.
Sorry to interrupt you. Just want to make sure everybody can see. Yeah, it's showing the next slide as well.
I got it.
Okay.
Okay, Sorry, everyone. Good thing I'm not in a technology company. Okay, so it's important that, over these 16 years, we've been remote. We're in 30 different states, and it's not the easiest thing to do. First of all, to manage. Second of all, to lead. It's a very, very different dynamic. And that's why I thought it was important to put this together and have you ask questions and talk about these things, because it's the difference between a company that's thriving and a company that's surviving, whether you get this or not. And what I'm showing here and what I'm talking about is how we lead. There's many different ways to go about it. So I don't want everybody to think that this is the end all be all. There's many different ways. I've seen a lot of people add some different types of things to how they do it, but I thought I would give you some ideas. I think it's important for all of us, because you'll see here in the coming slides, back to quote normal. You will create a whole much greater than the sum of the parts. Done wrong, you will lose focus on growing your business and basically, dealing with, your personnel. So it's important to understand that. So quick introduction here. Who is GSI? Full service organization for managed services with deep application industry knowledge. Advanced AI and automation is involved in everything we do to deliver cutting edge intelligence. That's important, because this is what enables our clients to thrive and not just survive. Our mission is to make every customer a client. There's a big difference between a customer and a client. And a vendor relationship is transactional. A client partner one is, bottom line oriented. We're interested more in your bottom line than we are ours. But the main thing here is, and it kind of goes into this presentation, is to accomplish the mission, we will create a culture that attracts and retains the most creative, most energetic, and most experienced professionals in the business. That's not easy. Okay, there's a lot of work that's involved in doing that, especially when you go remote. So why GSI? Full service ERP, SaaS, cloud, ITSM, cybersecurity reseller, consulting, and managed services organization. We have industry certifications, application certifications, technical certifications. Our consultants are certified and know what they're doing, not just in the business system that you're utilizing, but also the industry, which is the most important piece. Advanced AI automation in all of our products and services. So quick background, my degree is from Georgia Tech in AI. It was a while ago. I'm not going to tell you how many years, but it's now just coming to be the nice thing, the new thing. Well, I was doing it decades ago. So it's good to see that it's coming into its prime time and how much it's able to save. And I think you'll see with some of the things that we do, how we're able to utilize that and provide this advanced intelligence. We have offices nationwide with about 100+ people in them, partners worldwide. Why? Because you can't do everything around the globe. You have to have localization type knowledge, those types of things. So that's extremely important. And we treat our partners just like they're part of our family. There's no difference between somebody that's a W-2 at GSI and a partner that's somewhere in Europe. They're treated exactly the same. 24/7 global support model. We have with people onshore, near shore, offshore, just whatever you choose, it's whatever's right shore for you. And our signature 100% guaranteed. When I founded GSI in 2004, I was, if you're going to do it, you do it right or you don't do it at all. So the way you do that is you have a 100% guarantee on everything that you do. And I'm not going to say that we haven't been called on that. I'm not going to say that we haven't dropped the ball, because we have. But we've always delivered on our guarantee and to make it right. Here's some of the accreditations and certifications. As you can see, we've received, these are just a few of the awards, and professional, application, technical, and industry certifications. I can only get so many on the screen, but I think it's important that you understand if you're involved with a partner, again, not a vendor, a partner, that they have this kind of knowledge. It's not just the application that you're using, but it's the professional industry knowledge, which is extremely important too. Here's some of the products, as I was talking about, with artificial intelligence and augmented intelligence, which is basically, you letting machines do the work and then notifying you of the issues, and then humans make the decisions. So that's what that is. That's our Genius. Genesis Performance Optimization. We use this a lot to optimize systems. Genome is our newest product. It basically will detect, analyze, and automate process of converting customizations into orchestrations. Very, very neat. Why is it called Genesis? Genius, just a quick fact, have a little fun with it. You can't spell any of those without GSI. Just a little fact for you. Okay. Our clients are saying, here's some stuff. I think it's important that you understand it. We're not about, hey, can we make your system log in 3 seconds faster? Or can we run, a report 5 minutes faster or anything? Ultimately, in the end, whatever system that you're using, we have to be able to show our clients the business value of that system. And if that system is just used as a system of record and that's all it's doing, then you're not getting the most out of that system. And we talk about all the systems that we go in, we're sitting down with the business, talking about the business value and how we can make that system a market share expansion machine, not just a system of record. And here's a few of our clients that will attest to that. Okay, so here I am. I did have my picture changed out from the one that's on the invitation. No, I don't really like that other picture. This one's a little bit better, so we'll go with it. Guess I don't need to introduce myself. How we lead a remote workforce. Again, this is about how we do it. I am not saying this is the only way to do it. It's kind of like the Tiger Woods book when he first came out. It says, How I Play Golf. This is how we lead it. Just hoping that you guys can get some information, because this is a very, very tough position to be in if you've never had a remote workforce, because it's just a lot more work and a lot more checking in, so to speak, than you would think that if you're in the office and you can just see someone and say hi. So we'll get into that. Okay, so I'm going to go through the agenda here. A lot of things. I'm not going to go through all these. You guys can read them. Number one is the proper home office. We'll get into that and what that takes. Recognition and rewards program, big, big, big one right there. Video messages and employee advocate meetings are some of the top ones. If your team can't give you honest feedback in an anonymous way, you won't go anywhere. And you have to be able to address it, no matter how difficult the questions are, or sometimes you might think that they're ridiculous. There's no stupid question. The only stupid question is literally the one not asked. And you can get the mindset. It doesn't really matter what your people are talking about as long as they're talking. You're in a good spot if your people are talking. If they're not, you have a problem. If they don't feel like they can talk, that's when you really need to be worried, and we'll get into that. Okay, from Gartner, 22.5%, almost a quarter of the workforce that went remote during COVID-19 will permanently stay remote. And I mean, think about this. If you didn't have a remote workforce before, the scrambling that people had to do, our clients, we were trying to help them as much as we could, but it's tough if you're not remote. And if you look at this just from a cybersecurity standpoint, that 22.5% has now increased your attack surface for where hackers can get in. It's a big, big hole. And what we do with the cybersecurity and penetration testing and vulnerability testing and everything shows these kind of things. And it's allowed our clients to really understand what it is. It's not on here right now, but we do have it for anybody that's interested, that we can help with vulnerability testing. We will do it free for you and run the report. It's that important. And give it away for you to see the holes that you have now that you are remote. You're going to be surprised at what you have in there. Very important. Okay, set up a proper home office. Some of this is pretty straightforward. You got to have a door. When you're at home, just stuff happens. I mean, I remember when I started GSI 2004, I was on the road 288 nights in the first year. And I remember living in the hotel and basically walking in the hotel. And then for those of you that are of age, it was like Norm walking into Cheers. Mr. Herrig, how are you? Here, let's take your luggage up. Your dinner's ready. They knew me. You know, it was literally walking in. When I came home, it took me 3 months to get used to working from home with my family around. 3 months. I kid you not. It was extremely hard. There's so many things, so many noises, all kinds of stuff that you're just not thinking of because you're in the office and they don't occur. That's why it's extremely important that you have a door that you can close, because there's just noises you just don't want to hear. There's all kinds of stuff, dogs howling in their sleep and all kinds of stuff. You'd be surprised what happens. Proper lighting, chair, desk. I'm going to start with the lighting is important. The chair is probably the most important out of all of this. The best places to get a chair, really, you can find them wherever you want, but like Sam's and Costco and some of these places have some really good deals on chairs. If your back starts to hurt, you're not going to work. That's just the way it is. You're going to get up, you're going to walk around, you're going to find things to do. It's just very tough if your back starts to hurt. Chair is extremely important. Okay, 25 megabit, or I should say, yeah, megabit internet connection. Anything really lower, you're not going to be able to do video with. Consistently without having some lag and some interruptions and jitter and things like that. It's just tough to do that. There's a lot of plans that are out there. I don't even know that they even have them that low anymore. I mean, mine somehow just got kicked up to 200, and I'm just like, wow, that's pretty neat. HD IP phone. Cell phones are tough. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. If you got important calls, I highly recommend you get an HD IP phone for your desk, because you will not get the interruptions that you normally do. We use Polycom. There's a bunch of different ones that are out there, but I will not take a call unless I'm out with a client if I don't use my IP phone. I just won't. Docking station, multiple monitors, external keyboard. This is key. This is a posture thing. This is a vision thing. Your eyes get tired. You really don't want to work. Having it, just doing it on the laptop is just not conducive to getting a lot of things done. I personally have 3 monitors. One monitor I have on the left that I use for reviewing my documents and Excel spreadsheets. My middle monitor is my Teams and Outlook and file type stuff. And then on the right side, I've got other things with like just different PowerPoints and browser and stuff like that. However you set it up is up to you, but having that with, you know, a docking station and everything is good, because you want to be able to just pop it out and go and travel and not have to reset everything up, because that becomes a nightmare, and then port issues, and then you update your software, it becomes a problem. You just be able to pop it out. Docking stations are pretty cheap. Now, depending on what you do and you decide to invest in it from a company standpoint, or, you know, you ask the employees to do it themselves, I think, I'm not a tax expert, that if they buy this equipment that they can write this off on taxes. But you can notice, if you've seen a picture, there's a phone back there, there's an IP phone. It's important. You've got to simulate the office as best that you possibly can. And again, just doing it on a laptop, there's just not enough screen surface to be productive. Adjust to working from home, work-life balance. This is a big one. Again, took me 3 months to get used to my family again. It was difficult. It was really, really difficult. And basically, I came to the point of saying, during these hours, and when I'm in this office and this door is closed, I am not to be disturbed, you know? And it started with, okay, we won't knock on the door, Dad, but we're going to text you. I'm like, no, that counts too. No texting me either unless it's an emergency. All right, no slipping notes under the door. I need to focus on this. On the other side of that, after hours is your time. Put the phone down. Have your team put the phone down. Don't require them, and if you got some project going on, that's okay, but it's too hard to differentiate between your time and work when you work from home. Again, it's extremely hard mentally to draw that line in the sand between working at home and the family time when you do work from home. This is why I have an office and a door, and what I talked about in number 1. Once I leave that confine, now my mindset is family. And I'm in my confine in my office, it's work. And if you don't do that, it becomes a problem. Now, the big thing here is, and how we lead is we ask people to learn something new. You're saving all of this travel time going to work and everything. We don't just want this to be, other things. Give us half the time that you were traveling to go and learn something new, to help you and to help the company. You got to keep moving forward in this world. If you're stagnant, you're not going to go anywhere. You're just not. You can't talk about, even right now, it used to be 5-year plans. Now they're 18-month plans at most. And what you're going to do, time is shrinking. You've got to learn the new things. Help your team create a schedule that helps them focus and excel. Make a list of all the things that must get done during the week. Now, there's a book that, back in the old days of J.D. Edwards that we read called Situational Leadership. And I know I've seen the list of attendees on here, and some of you will remember this book. And there's basically 4 quadrants of leadership. And one is you basically can tell someone, hey, here's the problem, and here's and this is what I want. This is what good looks like. Go figure it out. The other side of that is, here's the problem, here's every step to get to this result, and here's the results that you need. So you have to work with your team and figure out how much help that they need. If I have an S1 person, which was one of the quadrants, I can just give them the stuff and say, go and do it, right? If I have S4, then it's something that I have to walk them through every step. Make sure that they know and that you know who they are, right? And you have to come to this agreement, because I'm going to say this again later on. Humans are not designed to be in isolation. And there's a lot of things that go on in people's heads, and they hear rumors from things. And if they're not in the office, it's very hard to get that good, gossip and see what's going on and talk to people and see if stuff's really true. You're on your own, you're in your office, you're by yourself. That thoughts might come into your head. Have the plan, keep them involved in what's going on this side of it, and then decide how you're going to get those to-dos to done today, as I call. I think everybody in GSI is sick of hearing me say that, but I laugh at it. I actually had a shirt made up of it, and anybody that didn't do it, I made them wear it. So it's pretty funny. Break down into tasks only a few items per day. This is a big one. Working from home, you are going to get interrupted. And you're going to get interrupted, and then you'll get interrupted again, and so on and so forth. It never stops. The interruptions literally never stop. I have it on my list that I have 2 things every day that I need to get done. And I cannot leave my desk until those things are done. Now, you may look at it and say, Kevin, only 2 things? The amount of interruptions that come on, the emergencies, you have to plan for all of this stuff. You're remote. You can't see everything going on, all right? So you're going to be getting IMs, and you're going to be getting phone calls, and you're going to be getting emails, and then you're going to get, your cell phone, and sometimes you might be on, a Teams call, and then your IP phone, and then your cell phone at the same time. Stuff always happens because people can't walk over to your office or your cube and see if you're busy and say, oh, wait. They're just going in there and just saying, okay, this is it. I need help, Everybody thinks that, good or bad, that they're the only ones working, and that's, their task is the most important. So it's extremely important for you guys to understand it. Don't go get overzealous on making the task, but make your team commit to getting X amount of things. Whether you guys want to do it 1, 2, 3, whatever, make everybody agree to it, that they will get it done, and they will not leave the office till those things get done. Because if not, something will creep in, and those will get pushed, and then the next days will get pushed, and so on and so forth, and you'll never get anything done. Put the must items in your calendar. I remind myself with emails, literally, what to do, and calendar invites. And I put things in there for different things with regards to whether we have presentations or whatever it is for dry runs, those types of things here. And I color code it. For me, I like to see the colors in there. It makes it very easy for me to know, just amongst us, which ones I can blow off and which ones that I have to attend. So it's important to know, looking at your calendar just from a color standpoint, what do I have to do today? And if things run late, where can I buy myself some more time? Very important on that. Works very well. Okay, this is a big one. I've seen too many people try for perfection. Okay, and if you're trying to be perfect, you always have to be right. And always have to be right means you're instilling values in your team that you can't be wrong by definition. And people walk on eggshells and they can't deliver when that happens. It takes too much to be perfect. Okay, it's better to be excellent than perfect. And excellence is a willingness to be wrong, which again allows your people to try new things without the fear of consequences. This is how you get innovation, growth, and job satisfaction. This is how you lead. When you're remote, you're going to look at every single thing, and I can't believe this happened. I can't believe that. You're not sitting there going in and looking at someone's face and walking over to them and talking to them and say, hey, did we do our best job here? No. Okay, what do we need to do better? And if you send an email, which we'll talk about here very soon, you'll see what that happens. People take an email in the mood that they're in. So you might have meant it in a nice way, but if they're in a bad mood, they're going to take it the wrong way. Of all of these slides, this is the key one. Make sure that your people feel like they can push the envelope without fear of reprisal. At GSI, we talk about delivering service excellence. We're in the service business, okay? We do not talk about things being perfect. We want to know why something wasn't perfect, and we want to know why, if a client wasn't fully satisfied, why not, and we'll try and adjust to that. But we want our people to go and try new things. Just had an event the other day where someone tried something they've been going on it for a long time, and it just didn't work out. I called them up and I said, that's what I like to see. And they were somewhat shocked. They know how we are, but they're relatively new to the company. But I'm like, this is what we want. You've got to continue to push the envelope and try new things. Go against the norm. Do that. When you do that, your people have a sense of belonging. And that's extremely important for them, especially being remote. Everyone wants to feel wanted. And this is how you do it. And you celebrate these things. And some of them, you can laugh at some of them, things that went bad. Oh, well, we tried this. I still talk to a client, that we messed up on 8 years ago. And it's just a funny thing. And they're like, you laughed it off, you tried it, and you go, we're still with you, Kevin, because you're continuing to innovate. And that's extremely important. This is a big one too. A recognition and rewards program is one thing if it comes from management. It's another thing if peers can give other peers rewards. And this came from one of our employees, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And the more I looked at it, the more I liked it, because we would call out, great jobs on certain things and certain accounts and what was going on, and people were like, hey, Kevin, I just want to be able to thank, Tracy over here for the great job. She helped me. She stayed after hours to help me. Like, I want to be able to give her something. I'm like, that's a very good point. So there's many ones that are out here. We use one called You Earned It. It's now, I think, by Kazoo. but you can see what it is. And people can give high fives to people and 5,000. You can see plus 5,000 points. Basically, that would be like $50. Okay. And we give each employee a certain amount of points to give away to one another. And, they go and they recognize it. This has probably been one of the, I will call this one of our glue ideas. It has really kept everybody together. And we send out a digest every day on who said what to whom, just in case you're not in a website. And it's just nice to see how much everybody appreciates everybody. And it's pretty apparent here at GSI that anyone will help you out no matter when it is, what the problem is. And the bad part of that is everybody always wants to help you out. Okay? Sometimes you may not want it, but they're going to help you. And this just shows it's just been a fantastic program. You get a certain amount of points, you can decide how long to keep them, and then you can go in and buy gift cards or whatever. And we have things for exercise. We believe exercise is very important. Consulting life is not good on the body at all. And so, you travel, you're eating out all the time, and then you come home and you go straight to sleep, not good. So we have points for doing things like exercise. We have points for how many steps that you get in. There's actually things that you can use your points for, like one of the things that people seem to like is, work with an executive for a day. So they can pick out whatever executive they want in the company. We'll fly them in, of course, pre-COVID at this point in time. And, they would sit with us and see what it is that we deal with on a daily basis. It was one of the things I was surprised about, that was, something that people wanted to do, but it's been great. We've also had people go in and donate points to charity on here too. We have different charities that you can give. So it really gives a sense of family and a good culture, because everybody can tell everybody, hey, thank you for helping me out. It's just not management doing it. So it's a great program to have. Highly recommend. Develop and track MBOs monthly, pay bonuses quarterly. Again, this is how GSI does it. When you're working remote, you have to give constant feedback. If you're not giving constant feedback, again, people are remote, humans aren't designed to be in isolation, things creep in. It's not a good thing. So the best way that we found, and we've gone through a bunch of different iterations of this, is to meet monthly and to have MBOs that are very easy to understand, right? You don't have to make them a bunch of tasks, which we started out with in the very beginning. And some MBOs had like 40 lines on them, and, put out this many webinars and do this many white papers and whatever. That just didn't make any sense. It was too hard to keep track of it, and this one's worth 2.5%, this one's worth 5%. So we looked at it and we just said, look, what's ultimately the goal? Our goal is to make sure that every client is fully satisfied, period. That's our goal. So what are the things that, relate to that? And we have these goals here. So you can see the goals I put up here. These are actually the goals for the CSM manager and the goals for the CSMs themselves. The CSM manager is to find out, hey, decrease churn. Why would clients be leaving if we're making sure that they're fully satisfied? Decrease the number of repeat client emails and calls. Well, you can't be fully satisfied if you keep asking about the same problem or the same ticket. And then the job is to improve the satisfaction of the team. Well, that's important. So what does that mean? I'm not giving a specific there. I'm making sure the CSMs are happy. Our CSMs are happy, our clients will be happy. Smiles go through the phone. Your attitude goes through the phone. If you're being a CSM and you're doing managed services, you're by definition remote, right? So it's important for everybody to understand that. And then the CSMs increase this client satisfaction by 10%, improve fully satisfied. Our job here is if we have very quick surveys, and if someone's not fully satisfied, why? The best feedback we have is when we've dropped the ball and people wrote, big, long email responses in the survey. We called them up immediately, went through it, made the appropriate changes. That's important. Again, like I said in the very beginning, As long as people are talking to you, you're okay. It's when they're not that you have the problem. So why do we do it monthly? Because we don't believe that it's fair to have a team of people. If you're going to say the most important asset of your company, which it is at GSI, is your people, then you have to show that. And if you go and you say annual review, well, what if I messed up in month one? You know, and I've been off track since then, and you're not going to tell me until 11 months later. That's not really fair. Okay, what if we did it quarterly? Well, I'm looking for, a quarterly bonus here on this, and I'm striving to do this, but what again, if I messed up in month one, I have no chance to get back on track. I've basically lost a quarter of my bonus for the year. Well, that's better than, most of your annual bonus. Okay, so what if you do it monthly? And can you do it monthly? Do you have the time? Well, if we simplify it like this, and we go in and we do it monthly, well, if someone's off track, they can easily get back on track and make their bonus. If you care about your people will care about you and your company. And it's important. And you have to be honest in these situations. And these are good conversations to have. And please do not ever move these meetings. These meetings mean so much to people. You don't ever want to move it. Even if you said, hey, I've got a client that I need to go and do this with, don't move it. It's just showing the people that they're not the most important. Keep these meetings, put them in stone, put them in for every quarter throughout the year at the same time, and this is what's going to happen, or the same time each month, and do these things. It's important. It will help lead your company, and it will make sure that you're not too far off in any given month. You're not waiting for a quarter to end and say, okay, well, this quarter was bad. Okay, maybe you have a week or two that's bad in a month or whatever. You can get back on track. Everybody loves this in our company. Even the managers who thought that this was going to be a huge nightmare to have to do these every single month. They all enjoy doing them right now because they collect the information on a month. We have dashboards on all this stuff. So it's very easy to see what's going on. You go through this pretty quick, and then you talk about career goals. We talk about career goals all of the time, at least once a quarter. Where do you want to go? If you're not talking about people, especially when you're remote, about career goals, you're going to lose them. Okay? Because, again, bad things creep into your head when you don't hear stuff in your remote. It's just what happens. It's the nature of the beast. You have to talk to them about that. You have to make them understand there's a position here for them, that they're valued, and we've got spots up here. Where do you want to go? It's extremely important to make sure that you cover the career goals too. Okay, meetings. Everybody knows you can have death by meeting. And we try, especially it seems like when you go remote, there's more meetings. And meeting after meeting, it's like people are checking in on you. Like I said, humans aren't meant to be isolated, but you don't want to create too many meetings. You've got to be able to trust your people. Judge on results, not about how much time is being put in. It's not activity, it's results. And it's tough because normally if you're in an office, you can go by and walk through and see what people are working on and check in on them just by saying hi. But, you might, as a leader, might have some ulterior motive. Hey, okay, are they getting this done? Or they? Well, you can see that. Here, you can't, but you're going to have to trust. This is the hardest part, okay? And this is why you meet on a monthly basis. You can check all of these things. This is why you have 2 tasks in a day. It all comes back. It all starts to make the whole greater than the sum of the parts, and you'll understand why. It's different than being in the office. Video meetings. Video meetings force people to be more focused. I'll get more into that, but people need to see people. And it's important that you do this. I just started a trivia this past week, and we had a Zoom meeting, and everybody was on there, and it was 80s night. And we gave a prize to whoever came out with the best costume, and then we created teams, and then had people go into breakout rooms, and we had a set of questions, and then a bonus round of hey, we're name these movies and then name these places and added up the score, and then we gave out, some prizes and stuff like that. Everybody loved it. It's a different take on a happy hour in there, but everybody got to see everybody. The more that you see your people, the more that you check in with your people and just ask them about how they're doing and how they're feeling, the better you're going to be. Okay? It's important. Again, people are not meant to be isolated. You have to check on them. Not everybody can work from home. It just, some people don't have the mentality to do it. It's not easy. You have to be very structured. But when you're also working from home, you also get a lot more interruptions and problems from the house and family and everything else. Checking in on your people is extremely important. Having the meetings, if you need someone to be really focused, have your agenda, do the stuff that you're supposed to do, and have a video. Video, you can see where people are looking and what they're doing, whether they're typing or whatever. It keeps it focused. Here's my favorite. Know when to email, when to IM, and when to call. These are interesting ones. Email, if you want a history of a conversation. What you need to know about email, and I said this earlier, if you write something to somebody who's not in a good mood, they will take it the wrong way. If it's glass can be half full or half empty, it will always be half empty. It depends on the mood the person's in. So when you look at your email, make sure that it can't be taken any way but the way you want it to be taken. Okay? I've had cases where people have told me, and it was a client that happened to be in a really bad mood, and said that I was telling them what to do because I used the word please. I'm not kidding. You do not know what's going through people's minds. Once I heard that, and there's a great book out there. It's good for anybody that has a remote workforce, especially, or wants to lead a team, How to Win Friends and Influence People, the original one by Dale Carnegie. Okay? I've never used please since. I've always used would you be so kind as to. All right? I didn't want to hear that. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, but how am I going to argue that? Okay? It's important that you understand that mindset. IM. Please make sure when you IM, this is for quick chats. I just got a quick question. Please make sure, I know it says busy on here, but it doesn't say someone is presenting or that someone is in a call. Busy, look, I'll tell you flat out, people can put busy on here all the time, but that just is a way to make sure that it doesn't show you that they're not at their keyboard or at their desk, all right? I'm just letting you in on how the easy way to do it. Busy, you can ping them and say, I always give it a YT, you there, or can you talk, or something along those lines. But I don't do it if they're presenting or in a call or anything like that. You don't want that popping up on their screen or anything along those lines. Again, IMs for a quick question, a ping, hey, how you going? Sometimes it's easy to do that. I'll ping certain people I haven't spoken to in a long time. Hey, man, just wanted to check in and see how you're doing. Is family okay? Everybody staying safe? Some of them I'll make calls to, which calls are very important. If you think an email or an IM or something might have been taken the wrong way, or you hear some scuttlebutt, get on the call immediately and nip it in the bud. Okay? When people hear your voice, things seem to calm down. It's just easier to do that. Important, I've discussed this before. You have to make time as leaders to make calls just to talk to your people. You can't have any other agenda. It has to be just to say hi and check in on them and their families. As leaders, you're not only directing the people that you have on your team, those people have families, okay? It's all tied together. So what you're doing and what you're bringing along affects home life also. So if you're just saying, hey, it's just a job, and they're going to feel like they're not wanted, and then that's going to go into their relationship at home, which is now, if it's remote, a lot closer. Then you have time to drive and and possibly settle down. I've seen those things happen. Okay, it's important. Make the time, put it on your calendar. I have it on my calendar that I go in and I call 3 people every week. Someone will give me a say, who's done a great job with everything. So I'll go in there and do some YEI points, and then I'll make some calls to certain people. In addition to that, you have to recognize people's personal accomplishments too. Okay, in the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, they say the name is, the sweetest sound to a person. Okay, call them and talk to them. Okay, I send an email or call people every birthday. GSI sends something every birthday to every person in this company. I make a call on the very first day that a person is hired into the GSI family. It's important to do those kind of things and welcome people immediately. For you leaders, as soon as they come in, they need to feel important because they're taking a chance on you too. You're not just taking a chance on them, they're taking a chance on you. Okay, and you need to feel welcome. Our onboarding process was in my pet project for the last 5 years. And when you come to GSI, you have your laptop, your business cards, you have your credit card, you have your cell phone, you have all this stuff on day one with some swag. You always have GSI swag. People love it. If they're making a change to you, they want some of that stuff. It's important to make them feel right. You never have a second chance to make a first impression as a leader. Okay? Very, very important. You can call if things aren't getting fast enough, and then if something's really wrong, I think that goes without saying. Video messages. Here's me. Leaders need to be seen. I'd send out a video message every Monday. 5 minutes or less. I try to keep it to 2 or 3, but I could get a little long-winded at times. Not that any of you can figure that out. But give a message. Talk to people about additional things. I come up and I talk about public service announcements. I ask people to please. I told you consulting is not a great life for your body. I ask people they haven't gotten their annual checkups to please do it. When it's flu season, please consider getting a flu shot. I don't force anybody to do anything. I've been talking lately about, hey, it's very easy to get COVID testing. If you want to know, all you do is you go to your doctor, you get a vial of blood, it's taken care of. Okay? So it's important. But make them fun too. You can see, it's Halloween here with I was doing it, and I was dressing up as our CFO because he always says, sorry, no budget. And everybody laughed at it. They had a good time with it. And you got to be self-deprecating at times and everything. And it's not about you have to be prim and proper as a leader all the time. Laughter releases endorphins. Endorphins make people feel good. Have some fun with it. Okay? Important. Put some different backgrounds, some video, Easter eggs in there. Like I always change the books behind me. All right? And I see who notices that. It's some good stuff. So have some fun with it. Employee advocate meetings. Very important. Again, if your people are talking, you're okay. But you need to find out what they're saying, what they like about you. And trust me, this isn't going to be easy stuff to hear. Okay? What they would like to see change, what they like about the company, on and on and on. So we'd have it every 6 months, and people go in there anonymously. So anybody that has a team, managers are in their own group. They're not with their teams, and all this stuff goes to an assistant that goes in and compiles all of this stuff through HR, group it all together, and then we find out what people like about GSI and what they don't like about GSI. And we always ask no complaining. If you have if you really want to talk about something and you have an issue, then please take the time to go in and have a recommendation of how you would like to see it addressed. And we think that's good. And first ones were a bunch of gripe sessions and everything like that, but we started getting places. And then people saw, once they realized that we were serious about this and that the executives were reviewing this all of the time and responding to every single issue that they had, they started recommending and started doing it. And they really liked this. And they've seen a lot of things change. We've changed 401k plans. We've instituted different travel policies. We've done a lot of things that have come from our clients. Heck, one of them was the YEI that I showed you in here. So it's important that you take this feedback very, very seriously. Never turn your nose up to some recommendation that someone gives you, whether it's in passing, whether it's in writing, whatever it is. If they're willing to say it, It's extremely important. Always make sure that it's addressed. Conduct monthly all hands call. I mean, it's very important. This is my last slide. People want to hear the good, the bad, the ugly. Again, you're in isolation. People want to know what's going on. Bad thoughts creep into their heads. I am promising you that someone that feels like that they're not treated right on your team is going through IM and talking to others about it and everything along those lines. Okay? And rumors are creeping into people's heads and what's going on and is company going down and all of these things are happening. When you're in office, you can walk around and say, okay, well, that's not really true. At home, you don't know what to believe. So it's extremely important to address these in all hands calls. Have an agenda and stick to it. Ours is 30 minutes. I won't allow it to go over 30 minutes unless people want it to go over 30 minutes, and that's usually because of the questions. Okay? Celebrate birthdays, weddings, certificate, all this stuff. Personal and professional. Your people are the most important thing at your company. You and your people are the company's most important asset. They need to show you that you are the most important. You need to show your people. Whatever it takes to do that, okay? It's extremely important. It goes a long, long way. Put some educational information in there. We usually have like one business line that has something new coming up. Get on there and we give them like 10 minutes to go in and talk about it. State of the Union. People need to hear from, me, the CEO, what's going on, what's here. We're not a publicly traded company, but I'm honest with people. You have to be honest. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's going to be hard at times. And you're going to find out whether people trust you or they don't. But you need to do this. You need to make sure that your people, they might not agree with you, but they need to respect you for doing what you need to do. Because as a leader, you have some tough decisions to make. All right? And they're not in your shoes. And it's tough. So they just need to be able to respect it. They don't have to agree with it. And then open it up for questions. We, had a recommendation that people were nervous about asking questions because I was on the call. And so they sent them in early anonymously and I answer them all. And then I open it up additionally for some additional questions for people to ask. And they're a lot more comfortable now. So that's what I have for you today, the summary of all of this stuff and everything. And I guess I'll turn it back over to Brooke.
Okay, thank you so much, Kevin. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Got it.
Center, where you can access our on-demand webcasts, white papers, and so much more. We also have our YouTube channel where you can view our recorded webcasts. And we also offer on-site and virtual workshops. Now, if you'd like to sign up for any of these, you can go out to our main page at getgsi.com, click on Resources and Events, and select the appropriate link on the right. And we will also be conducting a virtual JD Edwards upgrade workshop on July 15th, where you can learn everything from Oracle's roadmap on JD Edwards to performing hands-on exercises covering UX1, orchestrations, UDOs, one-view reporting, and a whole lot more than that too. And check out erptalk.com, which is our problem-solving forum where you can get your enterprise applications questions answered, as well as contribute your answers to other people's questions. And make sure that you stay connected with us on social media. All of our handles are currently listed on the screen, and you can see our most up-to-date posts on webcasts, events, industry insights. All right, well, I see. Also stay tuned for more information on our upcoming Executive Series webcasts. All right, well, I see that we have had a couple of questions submitted. I just want to remind you that if you would still like to do so, You can enter your questions on the GoToWebinar console. If you minimized it earlier, just click the left-facing arrow key, and you can input your questions. All right, Kevin, are you ready? Oh, Kevin, I can't hear you. Kevin, can you unmute?
I'm here.
Oh, there you go. Okay, cool. All right, so our first question comes from Michael, and Michael says, where would you recommend starting? Feeling very overwhelmed with where to begin.
Oh, that's an extremely good question. What is the what is the biggest problem that you have right now? What area?
Well, I'll give him a second to respond. Do you want me to do another question?
Can you just open it up so he can speak?
Everybody's muted. It won't let me unmute them. Here, let me give you another question, and then we'll go back once he responds.
Okay.
Okay, so our next question is from Linda, and Linda said, how do you structure your MBOs to ensure that employees are getting the job done?
Boy, these are excellent questions. Well, that's a really tough question to answer, but ultimately you're going to have to take a hard look at your team, and that's the harsh reality. I mean, any MBOs that you put up there, I mean, ultimately success is the MBO, right? Whether in our case it's fully satisfied clients, or someone else's cases it's, you know, churning out X amount of bug-free applications, or whatever it is. You have to put it out there. Now, what we do is underneath all of these MBOs is I have a task list that associates with it. So for the CSMs, we have an entire task list of everything that we do on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, quarterly basis, and annual basis. And we break all of that down, and then we have a category inside of there that associates back to the MBOs. So if I wanted to know, you know, if we had a problem with, you know, churn, you know, I could go and sort on everything, the task that's related to churn, and people could see. So for my team working with the CSMs, I went all the way down to the roots, and I started there with that. And then I built it up. Instead of saying this task list is your MBOs, I looked at what all these MBOs were really leading towards and categorized them, and that's how we came up with them. It's important if you have that, because you don't want to really incentivize people on being just task people, you know, and say, okay, well, did I do 1? Did I do 2? Did I do 3? That just makes people very mechanical. You want people to be innovative. Okay, the only way you can be innovative is you got to make these MBOs more broad and let them know that excellence is what is accepted, which is the willingness to be wrong, but try new things, go outside the box. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, to get them to believe you, because, you know, especially in this pandemic world that we're in right now, people think that they're losing their job, you know, all the time. That literally is probably the most unnerving thing about working remote right now. When you're in the office, you know the politics, you can see what's going on, you can get the scuttlebutt, but now you're sitting at home and you don't know who's going to just say, okay, we're making a reorg here and this is it and this person's out. So it's tough. You have to make your people feel wanted. There's many ways to do it. Again, I started with a task list of everything that must be done. If you're dealing with customers, okay, then the easiest way to start there is called journey mapping, right? You map the journey for the client. There's a great book out there called Driven to Delight. It's by, you know, it's what they did at Mercedes-Benz to change everything. And they mapped every single touch point they had with the client, and they rated themselves on a 1 to 5. You know, 5 being we're doing this perfect and the client loves it, to one being, we don't do this and we have no idea what we're doing. And you have to honestly rate yourself. Now, you can use that. We use that for external clients, but we also use it internally too, about how we're working with each other. And it's important because if our goal is to make every client fully satisfied, well, any touch point that they're not fully satisfied, by definition means they can't be fully satisfied, right? In our business, you're only as good as your last mess up. All right, that's what the rating is. So it's important to do that. I would suggest, again, either going through mapping out everything you do on what you expect from a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis, or start with the journey mapping. Journey mapping is always a good thing to go and do. If you send in the information, we can probably get you something along those lines and point you to the right area to do that. But it's something that we do every couple years. It's pretty time intensive. It's basically an audit of your whole staff and how we're doing. And some people don't want to bring things up, but if you really want to get it right, you got to start with those types of things. Great question.
All right. And you know what, Michael, we're actually going to have to get back to you because we're running out of time. So, well, I'm sorry, we won't be able to answer all the questions today.
Can we not extend it?
We can if you want to.
Yes, absolutely. I'm here to answer whatever questions anybody has. I'll stay for however long you want.
Okay. So our next one is from Connor, and he said, what virtual meeting software would you recommend?
Another great question. We use Teams, Microsoft Teams. We've also used Slack. We use GoToWebinar, and we use Zoom. So, what is my preference? Teams is easiest for us because we use Outlook, and I can create a meeting in there and just push a Create Teams Meeting button whenever I'm done. So it makes it extremely easy to do that. And now, I like the fact that you can change backgrounds. I don't like everybody just seeing my blank background here and a couple books and whatever I have going up, but I can put myself at the beach, and I can put myself or San Francisco or London or wherever. So I think that that's pretty neat if you have Teams. Zoom is pretty tough to beat, and especially if we use that for trivia, so you could have breakout rooms, and basically the team can go to a breakout room, talk amongst themselves, and nobody else can hear about it on that side of it. So it's really going to come up with, to what your IT team can support on that side of it. There's just a lot of really good ones. If you have Microsoft Office already, Teams is free. I'd be surprised if the company doesn't want to do that. So it's important to understand that. Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, so Michael never responded on that. Let me see if he's still here. But that was the question of just feeling very overwhelmed. And yes. Other than that, that's about it.
The easiest thing I would do, Michael, if you're still out there, is survey your team and find out what they feel like is right working remote and what they feel like is their biggest challenge, and bring that together and start there. Go with the low-hanging fruit. It's important. Every team is going to be different. People are different. Depends on their working environment. I have a nice office in the basement and everything. I'm not upstairs with the dogs running free and doing all that. So mine's different. So it's ask the people what they feel their biggest challenge is. Everybody's going to have something different.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Kevin. And thank you everybody for your questions today as well. And just as a follow-up from our webcast today, we ask that you complete a short 1-minute survey when you exit, and you will be receiving an email with a link to our resource center on our website, as well as our link to our YouTube channel, where you will be able to access today's recording from and a copy of the presentation. And after our webcast today, we will do the drawing for the $25 Amazon gift card, and anyone that attended the entire webcast will be eligible, and we will notify the winner. And
Yep.
if you do have any follow-up questions, you can reach out to us at info@getgsi.com. And that is it. We want to thank you guys so much for being here. And thank you, Kevin, for your great presentation.
Take care, everyone. Stay safe.